We'll start sewing the Alani bottoms with the pocket option by placing the pocket facing on the bottom's front piece, aligning on that curved section. You can use stay stitch or interfacing to keep that seam from getting stretched out and wonky. Next, we're going to understitch along the pocket facing. This keeps that seam in place so it doesn't show. Next, you'll place the pocket main on top of the pocket facing, align the side curved edges all the way around to the bottom and sew that edge, as well as finish it with a serger or a zigzag stitch. Next, you'll fold the pocket back into the bottom's front piece and align along the top edge and the side edge, and then just baste these sections so that the pocket doesn't get in the way when you're sewing the front to the back bottom pieces. Now we'll place the bottom back on top of the bottom front, aligning the side edges, pin that in place as well as along the inseam. This is the same for all the options for the bottoms. You'll sew along the inseam and the outseam for the bottoms using the front and back pieces. You'll do this for both sets, creating mirrored images. Next, we'll put both sides together. You'll have one of your bottoms pieces with the right side out, the other with the wrong side out. And then just grab the right side out, placing it inside the wrong side out so that the right side of the bottoms pieces are facing each other. I like to start by pinning at the inseam and then also at the top of the rise in both the front and the back, and then kind of easing the curves together as you line up the pieces. Pin it all the way around that whole entire crotch curve, and then sew to attach and finish that seam. Next, we'll hem the bottoms. I like to serge along the bottom edge before I turn it up a 1/2 inch, or you could turn it up a 1/4 inch, another 1/4 inch, and then sew the hem that way. You'll hem both legs of the bottoms. Go ahead and set aside the bottoms pieces, and now we'll grab the elastic waistband piece. You're gonna fold it in half with wrong sides touching, and then just iron to create a nice crease at the top. And you'll stitch using the seam allowances noted in the pattern to create 3 elastic channels, and that's where you'll insert the elastic in the side. I like to use a bodkin, or you can use a safety pin to insert the elastic into one side of your elastic waistband piece. And then I like to pin the end so I don't lose it, and continue over to the other side and pin that side of the elastic there. You're going to sew along the side seams there just to secure the elastic, and then you'll repeat this process for all 3 of the elastic channels that you created in the previous step. As you're inserting and then sewing the elastic to the elastic waistband, make sure that the elastic doesn't twist in the center of the waistband, and then also make sure you get a really good stitch there so that the elastic doesn't budge once you attach it to the flat front waistband. All right, now that we have our elastic waistband completed, you can fold it in half and find the back center of your waistband, or you can use the pattern piece if you marked it with notches earlier. I like to pin both the top and the bottom just to keep everything straight, because sometimes the waistband can get a little bit warped or just off kilter. You'll place the flat front waistband with right side facing up, and then fold it over the top of the elastic waistband along one side, pin it in place, and then sew to attach. Make sure you're using a 1/2 inch seam allowance here and that the elastic is visible on the inside of the waistband, just to make sure that you've got it nice and secure. You'll open up the flat front waistband again and then bring the remaining side of the elastic waistband over, folding the top of the flat front waistband on top so that all the right sides are touching, and sew to attach just like you did with the other side. Go ahead and turn the flat front waistband right side out, and now you can see you have your entire waistband all sewn. You can mark the front center of your flat front waistband if you didn't mark it with notches from the pattern piece. And then you'll find the front center of your waistband aligned with the front center of your Alani bottoms. I like to pin the flat front waistband on both sides first before starting to work with the elastic waistband. Once the flat front waistband is pinned, I'll find the back center of the elastic waistband and align it with the back center of the Alani bottoms. And then you'll place those 2 pins together. And then it takes a little bit of time and consideration as you ease the elastic waistband to the top waist seam of the Alani bottoms. So what I like to do is kind of just use my fingers here to flatten out the bottom of the elastic waistband and then pin it every couple of inches just to continue to ease it to the bottom, or sorry, the top waist seam of the Alani bottoms. So just take your time here, pin, and then kind of stretch the elastic waistband out flat, and then pin again, and continue all the way around. I do one side of the back of the waistband and the shorts back, and then I go to the other side and then work my way to the front from there. You'll find a great process that works best for you, but just make sure that you are smoothing out the bottom of the elastic waistband. It shouldn't be rippled or folded up in any way. It should all fit perfectly. Once you have it all pinned in place, you'll go ahead and sew along that seam. Again, as I remove the pins, I kind of just smooth out the bottom edge of the elastic waistband and kind of ease it to the top waist seam of the bottoms here. Taking your time, making sure that you're not gathering or allowing the bottom of the elastic waistband to get rippled or kind of folded up as you sew it. So it should all like smooth and ease together really nicely. The good news is as soon as you're done sewing this seam and then you finish it using your serger or a zigzag stitch, you are all done sewing the Alani bottoms. So great job.